What is up guys, Greedy Knight here breaking down the Omega fight using Charge Blade. A fair number of these general tips are floating around on YouTube, so this video will focus on the Charge Blade centered gameplay. Let's get into it. Here's the recommended loadout for Omega. Element File Ardians are used for maximum element damage for these thunder and fire allergic matchups against the Clanker and the Spider. You should only use the Legiacris if you don't have a perfect Ardian as a budget option. You aren't able to fit in all of your key skills at the optimal levels due to the limited slots, and Element File hits harder in this hunt. Every point of damage counts and you don't want to time out on Savage because you picked up the wrong weapon. You can clear the hunt using Impact File, but you do require cleaner gameplay to do so. The charm is any max level Charge Blade skill in Load Shell's Rapid Morph, Guard, or Guard Up with a good slot distribution as shown. You want at least the level 2 slots for the rarity 7 and the 2-1-1 slot for the rarity 8. Whatever your charm covers, you swap in the remaining skills on your weapon, and to get the weapon skill distribution shown, you have to make use of the secondary skills on your decorations. Guard ends up being universal across all Charge Blade related skills, so that's the easiest one to fit in. The armor consists of a Legiacris Mizutsune mix set using the Laggy Helm and Waist, the Mizu chest and legs with rayed out arms. This prioritizes Evade Extender 3, Burst 5, and Coalescence 3 with element centered set bonuses. It has enough 2 slots for Coalescence, Max Might, and Evade Extender. This covers all of your bases for damage and defense. Fire resistance isn't run because Coalescence triggers after clearing the Fire Blight, and it also triggers Bubble Blight after the 3rd evade, ensuring it's active during the hunt. You can consider Bind Resistance since it negates Savage Omega's Ice Blast, but you can clear that with Cleansers, or block it with Guard/Guard Up boosted Shield, making it kind of redundant. That leaves Divine Blessing for general play and Paralysis Resistance 3 to ignore the Morble's Poison Clouds for the Phase 3 DPS check. If you are on the Legiacris Charge Blade, then you swap around pieces for the Raydao Helm and Arms, Utduna Legs, with Laggy chest and waist. This shifts around your armor to get the most slots out of your available pieces while maintaining the respective DPS centered investment. The main change here is that you get 3 points of a level 2 slot skill, so you choose between Counter Strike or Part Breaker. Counter Strike is a diet version of Coalescence and you have to get hit to trigger it, but it is a good damage boost in a hunt where you are expected to get hit at least once. Your support hunters are Alyssa, Kai, and Mina. You and Alyssa maintain aggro, Kai provides stuns and buffs, and Mina will be the DPS role, getting mounts and wounds while occasionally popping heals on the tank. Since you are a guarding weapon, you are the flex tank / DPS. Your only job as a tank is to make sure enmity lands on you, and Alyssa will steal it from you. Then you shift to DPS and just backslash the back legs. You tag back in whenever Alyssa needs to take a breather. She will resume tanking when she is good and ready. All the while, Kai will get stuns and provide buffs as long as you stay in his area of effect. For Omega, you will aim for the head and the hind legs. The Element Discharge combo does notably less damage because it concentrates most of its damage output into cutting damage, while the AED combo outputs solid cutting and foul damage, making it the better option in this fight. The SAD is not an option while Omega is standing because of the amount of commitment it requires to pop files safely, but it is a solid DPS option during a topple, assuming you have a full round of files. As for Nursilla, you want to aim for the thorax using neutral SADs. The burst option is the better recommendation, especially when it is doing roughly triple of the AED loop with 1 loop. With the support hunters, you need to deal about 11,000 damage, which ends up being about 4 SAEDs against a Savage clone, assuming you land everything. Your party will contribute to the overall DPS check, but just keep pumping your files until you get your barrier up. Because of how the set is built, you could pretty much dodge or block everything in Omega's kit. Evades have lower commitment, but they require you to mind your positioning so you aren't backed into a corner. On the other hand, the guard is strictly used to bulldoze to safety. If your escape routes are covered, your shield will hold out until you can reposition and get to safety. You are not meant to sit there and be a brick wall because Omega will eventually blow it up. Of course, everything depends on how much health and stamina you have, so you want to go by about 50% of your health and stamina to be able to tank a given attack. If you are missing the initial hit of your AED, aim your reticle on the target you are trying to hit. The follow-up is a wide sweep and really easy to land, but the AED being a targeted single strike means your aim matters to land that damage. You want to land every attack you can. A simple act like toggling your sensitivity settings and practicing your aim with focus mode will increase your damage output, lower your time, and make the Savage farm easier. Once you shift into phase 3, you want to prep your fire weapon with 5 overcharge files and red energy for the DPS check. As soon as the callout starts, you swap to your fire weapon and head to the marble that's set up right next to Omega. Nursilla will always use its first action to slingshot at you, so slap on your Rocksteady mantle and line yourself up with the Nursilla so that it lands in the paralysis gas. This is why I recommend Paralysis Resistance 3, since you can ignore the Morble's cloud and just get straight to setting up without the risk of getting paralyzed. You load your files into shield and convert red energy to overcharge files, then you just pop your neutral SAD. All the while, keep an eye on the Morble so you don't obliterate it. As long as it doesn't take too much damage, it will stay active and spam paralysis clouds, locking it in place. Reset with 2 charge slashes, then pop SAD number 2. For base Omega this is enough, but for Savage you will need at least 4 SADs to kill it. Once it is dead, just hide in the barrier that gets dropped. After Omega finishes its beam, Omega is usually in range of the rock wall, so drop it on him for free damage. Phase 1, 2, and 3 are just the warm-ups, and Phase 4 is the final exam. Omega puts everything together. Pantocrator mode, enmity maintenance, starboard and larboard, 3 iterations of the blast, lasers, and charges, along with the health debuff. The triple charges must be avoided by evading to the side, or perfect guarding, because it inflicts heavy knockback. This will lock you in the animation, allowing the second charge to hit you from behind, usually resulting in a cart. Omega will start to break down in this phase and bug out as a result of the damage you have inflicted, giving you a few openings. To clear this phase, you should be dodging / guarding at least 70% of Omega's attacks. It will layer attack after attack. The general rule is to keep moving and evading. Ride on your Sacred if you have to. When it halts from the malfunctions, you have to be healthy enough to zoom back in to exploit those damage openings. Support hunters can't deliver the finishing blow, so make sure to do your share of the damage to get the clear. Once you clear base, Savage is the next thing to topple for Omega gear. Here are the main differences. You have 35 minutes for the hunt, and both monsters have roughly double health using support hunters. Phase 1 should take about 3 minutes, Phase 2, 3, and 4 are allotted 10 minutes each. But if you clear a phase faster, that time just gets shifted to the later phases. If you clear base in about 15 minutes, you are looking at a comfortable 30-minute hunt for Savage. Getting faster if you can get a cleaner run or team up with competent players. Similarly for Nursilla, you'll need twice the amount of SADs to kill it, bumping that number from 2 to 4 to clear the DPS check. Support hunters consistently deal about 50% of the health, so just keep wailing on Nursilla if it doesn't die after the 4th SAD. Its wounds heal over time, so you lose the ability to wound them if you don't pop them immediately. Mina and Kai are useful here because they will pop wounds on sight. Savage has a new Frost Blast move that extends past its legs. Omega will combo a charge from them, usually carding you between the 2 hits. You roughly need 3 evade extender evades to get clear of it, so it's best practice just to block it with your guard up. Omega will start the hunt with the Phase 2/3 moveset, starboard or larboard, charge attacks, and 2 iterations of the Fire Blast, increasing difficulty with each phase. You will have less breathing room in the hunt because Omega will chain more attacks together. You must successfully ward off a majority of each onslaught or you will get carded. Base Omega taught you the fundamentals, Savage expects you to master them. For Phase 2 and 4, Omega's Pantocrator Tantrum will usually proc at least once. Savage's bloated health makes deactivating it before one tantrum occurs next to impossible in a support hunter group. These differences increase the difficulty of Savage, but it doesn't change the fundamentals you learned from base. It just punishes mistakes with cards and expects machine-like gameplay. The cruel reality of this hunt is that you can do most of the standard practices right and still taste defeat. A single poorly timed ledge climb led into a cart. Omega is a machine that punishes any sign of weakness, so you as a hunter must surpass your limits. You get back up after each defeat, you charge in, and triumph.